I'm Marin, and this is Post-its and Pens. Hello and welcome to or welcome back to my channel. My name is Marin, and here you will find a little beauty, a little books, and a little teaching content. So if that sounds like something you might enjoy, I would love for you to subscribe and stick around and join me in my little corner of YouTube. Today's video is going to be my take on the mid-year book Freakout tag, so let's go ahead and get into the video. So I did do this tag last year. I will link it up above in case you would like to check out last year's answers. But if you are not familiar, the mid-year book Freakout tag was co-created by Chami, who was previously known as ReadLikeWildFire, and Earl Grey Books. I will link Earl Grey Books video down below, and I will also put the questions in case you would like to answer them for yourself. But let's go ahead and just roll on in. I have them on my computer, so apologies. There's 15 questions, so we're just going to go on through them. So the first one wants to know, what is the best book that you've read so far this year? Now, I am going to give you all of the books that I've rated 5 stars. I've rated them 5 stars for like different reasons. So I have a difficult time with best anything questions. So you're gonna get a list here. But one of them is Razorblade Tears by S.A. Cosby. I also really enjoyed From Lukov with Love by Mariana Zapata. I know, like 2 totally different genres. I also loved Everything Leads to You by Nina LaCour. And then I do have a couple of them here. So I also really enjoyed A Psalm for the Wild Built by Becky Chambers. And I also really liked The Magnolia Palace by Fiona Davis. So, you know, a list. That's what we're gonna have to go with. But those were my 5 stars for the year so far. Okay, question number 2 wants to know what was the best sequel that you've read this year, and I actually have 2 of these as well. The first one was The Hawthorne Legacy by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. This is the second book in her Inheritance Games trilogy. It follows Avery, who is suddenly the heiress to this Texas billionaire's fortune, although she does not even know who he is, and kind of what follows after that. There's a lot of games, a lot of puzzles, twists and turns, so I really loved that one. And the other one that I really liked was Conspiracy of Blood and Smoke by Anne Blankman. This is the second book in a duology, The Prisoner of Night and Fog, and that one takes place during the build-up to World War II. So the first one is set in Berlin, and then the second one like kicks in starting in the UK, but then going back to Germany, and it kind of just follows Hitler's rise to power, if you will, and these 2 people's trouble with that as they try to clear somebody's name, etc., etc. So I don't want to go too into it. I've done a vlog on them though, so you know, you can look out for that if you're curious. Question number 3 wants to know, what is a new release you haven't read yet but want to? And for that one, I'm going with Yerba Buena by Nina LaCour. This is on my whatever-a-thon TBR. I don't know that I'm going to get to it, but I do really want to read this one. So if I don't get to it this month, I'm definitely reading it next month. I really love Nina LaCour. I read Everything Leads to You earlier in the year. As I mentioned, it was one of my best books of the year so far. So I'm very curious to see what I think about this one. This is her adult debut, I believe. All right, question number 4 wants to know, what is your most anticipated new release for the second half of the year? And I'm going to go with The Final Gambit by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. This is the 3rd and final book in her Inheritance Games trilogy. I am super curious to see how that series is going to finish out. Not really sure where it's heading, but I've loved the first 2 books, so can't wait to see the end. All right, question number 5 wants to know, what was your biggest disappointment so far? And that has to be Real Easy by Marie Rutkowski. I have loved everything I've read by that author up until this one. I gave this one 2.5 stars. It was very slow. In my opinion, it had too many points of view, and I just at no point felt engaged or engrossed in the story. Like, I would set it down for like rather long periods of time and not feel any compunction to pick it back up. So it just didn't work for me. It was pretty disappointing because it was a mystery thriller, which is a genre I really do love, but something just didn't work for me with it. So definitely my biggest disappointment. On the flip side, number 6 wants to know, what was your biggest surprise? And that one has to be A Psalm for the Wild Built by Becky Chambers. This is sci-fi. I am not typically a sci-fi reader. This follows a T-monk and a robot. And if you had told me that premise, I would have like not at all wanted to pick it up. But this is a host fave for whatever-a-thon. It is nice and short, and I put it on my TBR solely for that reason, and I wound up giving it 5 stars. I really, really love this one. Definitely threw me for a loop. I might check out more from Becky Chambers. I'm definitely going to read the next book in this series, but yeah, color me surprised because I never saw this one coming. Okay, number 7 wants to know, what is your favorite new author? This can be a debut author or just an author that's new to you. So I'm gonna go with Nina LaCour. I already mentioned I loved Everything Leads to You, and I have a couple other of her books like on my physical shelf that I need to read, plus Yerba Buena. I just really loved like the feel of her writing. It really worked for me. And then another one that I really, really loved was Beth O'Leary. So I've read both The Road Trip and The No-Show this year, and this one in particular did not get great reviews. A lot of people didn't like it, I guess because when you compare it to like her previous books, this was a lot less romancy. I would say this one is too. Like, they're romance, but not really. They cover some like dark topics, and I guess a lot of people didn't love that, but I really, really enjoyed both of these books. So I'm very much looking forward to reading her backlist because yeah, I loved these, so go figure. I guess I'm kind of like an odd bird in that respect, but I really liked her books and I'm looking forward to reading the rest of her backlist. All right, question number 8 wants to know, what is your newest fictional crush? I don't have fictional crushes, y'all. Like, I just typically don't, but I did really enjoy Ivan Lukov from Lukov with Love by Mariana Zapata. There was something about him that made me laugh and kind of like feel for him, and I really loved that book as a whole. The book like really worked for me, but he was definitely like a fun factor in that book, so I guess I'll go with him. Okay, number 9 wants to know, what is your newest favorite character? And for that, I'm going to go back to A Psalm for the Wild Built, and I'm going to pick Splendid Speckled Mosscap, who is the robot in this book. There was something very charming about him, and he just put a big smile on my face. So there you go, newest favorite character. All right, number 10 wants to know, a book that made you cry. And for this one, I'm going to go to a nonfiction book, and that one is My Sergei, A Love Story by Ekaterina Gordieva. If you are not familiar, Gordieva and Grinkov were a figure skating pair that won 2 Olympic gold medals, multiple world championships, etc., etc. Sergei passed away very unexpectedly at the age of 28, and this book is Katya's like recounting of their life together, starting from when they were very young and first skating together into when they fell in love, got married, had a child, and then he passed away. The last few chapters, or the last couple chapters of this, I was like sobbing. It's just heartbreaking to know, like, to think about what could have been for them and what actually wound up happening. She is remarried, but even now when she talks about Sergei, you can tell that was her first love, and she is still very much in love with him, and it's just very, very sad. This story is very, very sad. So yeah, have your tissues ready if you're gonna read this one, because I was a mess. On the flip side again, we're going to talk about a book that made me happy. You've seen this one before. It's this one, A Psalm for the Wild Built. There was just something very gentle about this book, and it just put a smile on my face the entire time. It just really, truly made me happy, and the feel of it, the way she wrote, the characters' conversations, the setting, everything about it just made me happy. And Yeah, that's part of why I love this one so much, I think, was like the feeling that it gave me as I was reading. Okay, number 12 wants to know, what is your favorite book to film adaptation you've seen this year? I haven't seen any, so I can't talk about that. If we're gonna fall back on like old ones, my forever favorites are going to be the Lord of the Rings trilogy and the Harry Potter films. I know it's like not, people don't talk about Harry Potter anymore, but those adaptations were really, really well done. I watch them quite often whenever they're on TV. They're just something that makes me feel good and brings back good memories. So those are my answers. I know I need to like get up to date with some other things. I'm currently listening to All the Boys I've Loved Before, so I do want to watch that one. I still need to watch the adaptation for Shadow and Bone, the Grisha trilogy. Yeah, I'm kind of all over the place. I don't watch a lot of new TV or films, so you know, there you go. If you have some recommendations for me though, feel free to leave them down below. I'm always open to suggestions. I just can't guarantee when I'm actually going to get to them. All right, number 13 wants to know, what is your favorite video that you have done so far this year? And I would say it's my Try a Chapter vlog. I'll link it up above. Basically in, what was that, March, I think, I was going through a pretty brutal reading slump, and I was trying to get myself out of it. I think this was April, actually. April's when I was having the reading slump. So I did a Try a Chapter where I took multiple books that I had just like kind of laying around the house and read the first chapter of them. I got on, I talked to you about my thoughts, talked about whether I might be interested in continuing to read them, etc. And I really enjoyed that one. That was the first time I'd done that, and it was kind of a new way of looking at books. So check that out if you're interested. I did like how that one turned out. Okay, question number 14 says, what is the most beautiful book you've bought so far this year or received? And I'm gonna go with the 10th anniversary collector's edition from Owl Crate of The Scorpio Races by Maggie Stiefvater. I did not own a copy of this book, and when I saw that Owl Crate had like special editions of them, I went ahead and jumped on it. So the cover is blue rather than like the maroon of the regular one, and it does have some artwork on the dust jacket. So here you go. I don't know, there's something like reflective and kind of satiny about the dust jacket itself. The book has the title engraved, and then on the back there's like this quote right here. So it says, "It's the surf in your face, the deadly magic of November on your skin, the Scorpio drums in the place of your heartbeat. It's speed if you're lucky, it's life and it's death, or it's both, and there's nothing like it." So it's just very, very pretty. So yeah, this is like the first special edition that I've ever purchased. I am not an Owl Crate or a Luma Crate subscriber. So when I saw Maggie like talking about this on her Twitter, I jumped on it, and it is autographed, obviously. There you go. So definitely this one would be the most beautiful book, just because of all the extra special things that they've done to it. It's very, very pretty. So I'm glad that I picked it up, especially since now I actually have a copy of the book on my shelves. Finally, question 15 says, what are the books you need to read by the end of the year? I've got a lot of them, y'all. I've got all the rest of the books on my 22 books to read in 2022 list. I'll link it up above. And I also have the rest of the books on my 22 series to finish in 2022 list, which I'll also link up above. So those are the books that I need to read. Like, there are some other ones that are coming out or have come out that I would like to read. Those are the books that I need to read. I also need to continue on with my Nancy Drew read along. I am currently on book 6. And book 6 is this one right here, The Secret of Redgate Farm. So I want to make sure I'm continuing with this. That's something else that I need to read. I try to do one of these a month. So yeah, those are the books that I need to read before the end of the year. And that's it. That is my take on the mid-year book freakout tag for 2022. If you've done this tag and you would like to let me know, please comment down below. I would love to check out your responses. If you have either read any of these books or have thoughts about any of these books, feel free to share that below as well. You can also just leave me like the little book stack emoji if you would like to let me know that you've watch the video but maybe don't have anything else to say. But anyway, yes, I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please leave me a thumbs up. Consider subscribing to my channel if you would like to see more from me, and I will see you in my next video. Bye everyone.